welcome to another video. Today we're going to be having a look at the Tarot of the Kingdoms by Paige Ozma Ashmore. This was recently sent to me by Red Feather, who are also Schiffer. This is a beautiful tarot deck. I've only had a very quick look at it because I wanted to save this for unboxing on a video with you. So it's a lovely box it comes in. It's all pinky and bluey, and on the side it says enchantment, and on the other side it says wisdom. It's got a lovely spine for if you're wanting to display it upright, or even this way up maybe, on a shelf. And then on the back it gives you some information. It says that it's time to bring the magic of the universe to your door and to bond with your deepest powers of intuition. There are 80 lavishly painted tarot cards in this deck, which include 2 extra cards from the traditional Rider-Waite deck, one to allow you to reign over your own sovereign kingdom and the other to receive personal messages from the universe. So this deck is $34.99. It opens with a magnetic clip close, as you can see here. So when I open it, I get a lovely pink box, and inside there is a guidebook, which we'll look at in a moment, and there are the cards. Now this did arrive with plastic sealing around the cards so that they didn't fall apart, but I've been in this box, so yeah, it's got a cardboard guide there to hold your cards sturdy when they're on display on a shelf, for example. I really like this box. I love the pinks and blues and kind of girly colours. They're really nice, the pastel kind of pale colours. So these are the cards, as you can see. They're not really reversible, but I adore the card backs. Again, these pastel pinks and blues, and the matte, the like papery feel. They're not glossy at all. So they're not edged. It's just like really papery, but they're quite chunky cards, they're quite sturdy. So let's have a look at the guidebook. It is in total 144 pages long, and as you can see, it is indeed colour printed, and it explains, there's some acknowledgement, it explains in the contents what's in there. It's the invitation, an introduction, and then there's chapters about, it says let's go to the movies, but it's not about movies. The deck full of stories, layouts, which is the spread examples. It gives you some information on tarot and numerology and how to combine the divination techniques. And then you've got a guide to the major arcana and a guide to the minor arcana. The suits are slightly different. They're called the Suit of Kingdoms. Then it's some guides on the extra cards, and then some information on how to find your purpose, and some information on tarot alchemy. So here's the invitation, and it says basically it's an invite from the magical world to you to read with the cards, and then it gives you an introduction about how Tarot of the Kingdoms came about. And then it says about let's go to the movies, and it's about when she taught people to read tarot cards and how to actually do a reading. And it explains about how the deck's full of stories, and it shows you some layouts, like a 1-card layout, a 3-card layout, and then some other spreads. And then it gives you a guide on that numerology and how to combine the techniques. And then we have the Suit of Archetypes, okay, the major arcana. So they kind of class the major arcana as its own suit in this, and it gives you a double-page spread for each card and a colour copy of the card there to reference to. So if we just flick quickly through the major arcana, and you can see they're all the same. And then we have the Suit of Kingdoms. So these are the 4 suits, and it tells you about the minor arcana there. So we've got the Suit of Spirit, okay, and then the Suit of, and then we've got the Suit of Air, and it explains about how air works, and then it gives you a single page for each card, as you can see. So the Suit of Air would be, if you will, swords. And then we've got the Suit of Fire, which would be staves or wands. And then we've got the Suit of Water, which would be your cups. And then we've got the Suit of Earth, which would be your pentacles or your coins. And then after that, it tells you about the extra 2 cards and finding your purpose. And then we've got in here information about the card before. So it says, for example, if the Fool comes before another card, you may be feeling lost and unsure. Nothing in particular is calling you out, everything is. So it's about when cards are ordered and placed in particular positions. I like this because you don't get that kind of information in most of the guidebooks. And then it gives you some information about tarot, alchemy and magic. So there we go. That's the guidebook, a really, really interesting guidebook. I'm looking forward to giving that a really thorough read. So let's have a look at these beautiful cards now. As I said, this is a papery field deck. It's quite large in size. So if I was to take a standard size tarot card, this is actually an oracle card, not a tarot card, but it's a standard tarot size, you can see it's a lot bigger. So it's quite a chunky monkey to shuffle, but I can shuffle it, thankfully. So here we go. All the cards have got this beautiful rainbow edging in the major arcana. So we'll have a look through now. And the titling's really easy to read. The Fool, this is the first card. I love how it's not actually a figure, a person, a human there being represented. It's an animal. I'm not sure if it's a fox or a cat, but they're sat on that cliff edge and you can see there the bear in the celestial stars and the sky against the moon. So you still have that cliff edge, but you have a different sort of setup for the traditional Fool. This is very modern. I like it. We have the Magician, which is interesting because, again, like a figure of an animal, if you will, going through a rainbow, wearing beads. We've got the beautiful skyline there, the sun, but we've also got the stars and the moon, and it's got going into water. So you've got all your elements there going on, you know, your air and your sky, and I was going to say your air even, and your water, not your sky. Then we have the High Priestess. I really like this card. I love how she's got long flowing red hair, and I love that we've got the moon and the sun opposite each other, and her skirt becomes this water. It's beautiful. The Empress. Well, how delightful is that? Because the Empress is indeed fertility and growth. And we've got this growth. It's literally coming out of this lady. It's like the plants are growing on her. Then we have the Emperor. Isn't he lovely? That lovely horse. The stallion there. And the Hierophant, which is a turtle. So I love that these are not human form figures. I really like this. It's such a gentle feeling sort of deck. The Lovers here, we do have human figures. And the stars and the sun and this union. I love it. And then the Chariot. Well, that's really interesting because we have a human figure here who's riding an animal figure, a panda, and you can see they're playing some sort of a lute or a trumpet, and it just looks really different from the stereotypical chariot. We've got Strength. And again, it looks like she's not riding it, she's walking by the side of it, isn't it? That was just an optical colour illusion. But like literally walking on the clouds there together. The Hermit, carrying that traditional lantern. The Wheel of Fortune, and this wheel is actually a wheel of animals, if you will, this change. Justice. Very different. The Hanged Man, and I do find this quite strange to see a whale as the Hanged Man, because yes, the Hanged Man, I always usually turn the other way up to see the correct way, but this is very different depiction of the Hanged Man. And then we have Death. Again, this rainbow and this female figure is completely different from how I usually see Death. Temperance in a similar way. We've got these wings, this fire wing and this earth wing and this water, so we've got all that balance. And then we've got the Devil. And it's the fox who's sat down to a tea party. Yeah, it's very different. And the Tower. Again, there's no crumbling buildings or lightning bolts here. It's all very different. And the imagery is certainly, it offers a different message, a different meaning to the cards for me, this deck. The Star, which I think is absolutely glorious. The Moon. I love how there's all these flowers here and it's pouring into the earth and it's almost growing like a lily pad. Then we have the Sun. Again, we've got these animals and this kind of figure made up from natural materials building in the sky against the sun. So it's all very nature-based. We have Judgment here with a rainbow coming from the pot. Then we have the World the sun, the moon, the female figure. This is completely different from a traditional deck. So moving on to the Ace of Air. Now I associate air with swords, so I'm assuming for the time being that the suit of air is based upon the swords. But we start off with this dandelion clock and a baby in the centre of it. Two of air and the 3, which is riding a swan there. See, the 3 of swords normally would be this heartbreak, wouldn't it? And we can see this bolt of sunshine coming down, but usually the 3 of swords is like the swords through the heart. So 3 of air I see rather differently here. 4 of air being crowned, and the 5. Why does this remind me of Tinkerbell? I don't know. And Peter Pan with a little green hat. And then we have the 6 of air. They're all very dreamy sort of cards, aren't they? And the 7. And the 8. How beautiful is this tree? I love this tree. I would love to have that as a painting in a big way on my wall somewhere. Then we have the 9 and the 10. The imagery is just so different from any traditional tarot deck here. Then we have the Page of Air, and I like that you're making your way through this woodland and there is no figure. It's almost you are in the card, a bit like the Spacious Tarot. It puts you in the card there. The Knight of Air, riding this horse. Then we have the Queen and the King. So we still have our court cards traditionally named. Then we have the Ace of Fire. So this was what I would say would be the Ace of Staves or the Ace of Wands. We have this Phoenix rising from the flames and the 2 of Fire, the 2 figures dancing together, and the 3, and then the 4 and the 5, which the flames and the fire here I can really feel coming through. Then we have the 6 and the 7. It's like a dream castle, isn't it? And the 8 and the 9 and the 10. It's really ethereal and kind of surrealism in terms of artistry. And we've got the Page of Fire and the Knight of Fire and the Queen and the King. Beautiful imagery. So moving on to the Ace of Water. So this would be like your Ace of Cups. We have the Ace of Water there with this pregnant figure. And the 2 of Water, or the 2 of Cups, like the Union card. And the 3 of Water. Glorious. And the 4. Now this one, I can read this one really easily because obviously the 4 of Cups is about that dissatisfaction, and just a look on her face gives me that message from the card. And the 5. And then we have the 6, which reminds me of some sort of scene from The Little Mermaid. And the 7. And the 8, which reminds me of kind of a mixture of Frozen and The Little Mermaid. It's very Disney in my eyes here. And then we have the 9 and the 10. So the 10 of Cups is usually a vibrant rainbow and very much happy card. But this to me, just all I can see is family in unison. Then we have the Page and the Knight riding what looks to me like a seahorse. And the Queen and the King. Very King Titan there. So finally we have the suit of Earth, which is like your coins or your pentacles. We have the Ace and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 5. Now this would usually be a scene of people walking outside a building on their own, and they're all, they're outside, they're abandoned, if you will, they're lonely. Whereas this is like a bending tree, and we've got this flower on its own. I find that interesting. Then we have the 6 of Earth and the 7. This is glorious. I love the trees in this deck. And here's another tree with the 8. Isn't that beautiful? Because it's actually a tree, but it's a figure. Then we have the 9 and the 10. And the Page. So this time we've got an animal figure for the Page. And the Knight. And the Queen is pregnant queen here, this material star queen, and then the king, which he's glorious, isn't he? The stag there, made from ice. And then we have these 2 extra cards. So we have spirit and the universe. And the meanings for those are in the guidebook. I love the spirit card. I love the colours. I love them both, actually. But yeah, this is a very different deck from your traditional Rider-Waite tarot. I wouldn't recommend this as a first-time reader's deck. I would never recommend this for beginners because it's likely to confuse the bejeebers out of you. But it's a beautiful, ethereal, surrealistic, sort of gentle, easy read for more experienced and advanced readers who already have knowledge of the tarot. It's a really nice feeling and looking deck, and it smells great, which sounds peculiar, but I love the smell of stationery in tarot decks, and this is just beautiful. I love how it shuffles. I love the imagery, and I'm looking forward to working with it. Have you got the Tarot of the Kingdoms? Have you used it? Do you like it? Is this video informative, and have you enjoyed it? Would you buy this deck? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video informative. Take care.